Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling a topic that, well, frankly, drives a lot of people completely crazy.
Oh.
We are talking about the plateau.
Oh, the dreaded plateau.
Yeah.
It's the place where language learning dreams go to die.
It really is. I
Oh.
mean, you know the feeling I'm talking about. You've done the apps, you've played the games with a little green owl,
Mm-hmm.
you've maybe even bought a textbook that is right now just gathering dust on your shelf. You know the basics. You can order a coffee, maybe ask where the bathroom is.
But you don't feel fluent. Not really.
Exactly. You feel like a robot,
Mm?
a malfunctioning robot.
Yeah.
And today we are going to talk about a method to break through that wall. And I have to be honest with you, when I first looked at the research for today's dive, I was skeptical
Oh, really? Why is that?
because it just sounds too simple. It sounds like a trick.
Yeah.
The whole premise is that you don't need a teacher, you don't need a classroom, you don't need to move to New York or London.
Yeah.
You just need to talk about your boring, mundane life.
Right. It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're
Mhm.
so conditioned to think that complex problems, well, they require complex solutions. If learning a language is hard, the solution must be expensive and, difficult.
Yeah, there must be a secret course or a $10,000 program.
Exactly. But actually, the research suggests that the secret to fluency is kind of hiding in plain sight. It's all about narrating your own existence.
Narrating your existence. That sounds a little dramatic for, I'm making toast.
But it is dramatic. In a way, it's also the key. We are going to explore why talking about your specific personal day, the good, the bad, and the incredibly boring, is actually the most powerful tool you have. And the twist,
What's the twist?
you don't need an audience, you just need yourself.
So if you're listening to this and you feel stuck, or if you feel like your English is just a collection of grammar rules and not a real living language, stay with us. We're going to unpack this.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so I want to start by setting the scene here. We really need to talk about the learner mindset, because I think this is where the trap is. For me, whenever I try to learn a language, and I failed at a few, I always feel like I need to say something really important.
That is the profundity trap.
The profundity trap. I like that.
It's this misconception that fluency means being able to discuss, the nuances of global economics or the philosophy of existentialism or the intricacies of the current political climate. We
Right.
think, well, adults talk about serious things, therefore, to speak English like an adult, I must talk about serious things. It's a flawed assumption from the start.
Right. I can't just say, my sock has a hole in it. That feels, I don't know, it feels childish. It doesn't feel like I'm really speaking the language.
Exactly. But here's the reality check. How often in your native language do you actually discuss the philosophy of existentialism?
Maybe once a year. And usually after a few drinks.
Right. And what do you talk about the other 364 days? My socks, my commute, what I want for lunch, the fact that the printer is broken again, the little everyday things.
Precisely. Real fluency starts with the mundane. It absolutely starts with the granular details of daily life. I mean, think about it. If you cannot comfortably describe the process of making your morning coffee, describing the sound the beans make in the grinder, the smell, the heat of the mug, then you have no business trying to debate geopolitics.
That's a bit of a burn, but it's completely fair. We try to run before we can walk.
We try to fly before we can even crawl. So the mission for today's deep dives is really to give you permission to be boring. We want to show you how to turn a regular, maybe an unremarkable Tuesday into a high-intensity language training ground.
Okay, so let's get into the philosophy of this then. Why is boring better? Why does my brain prefer I am brushing my teeth over, say, the economy is experiencing inflationary pressures?
It really comes down to cognitive science and just how our memory works. Specifically, it's all about connection and relevance.
Think about the classic textbook examples we all grew up with. You know the one. John throws the ball to Mary.
Poor John and Mary. They've been throwing that same ball for about 50 years now.
They have. But here's the problem. You don't know John. You don't know Mary. And frankly, you do not care about the ball.
Zero emotional investment. None.
Exactly. It is abstract information. Your brain is, well, it's a filtering machine. It's designed to forget. It filters out millions of bits of data every single day that it deems useless for your survival or your personal experience.
And abstract grammar exercises.
They get filtered out very, very quickly.
But my life doesn't get filtered out. My own experiences.
Correct. This is the egocentric nature of our memory. When you talk about your life, your toothbrush, your car, your annoyance at the traffic, your brain tags that information as relevant. The amygdala, which is the part of the brain dealing with emotion, it just lights up.
Hmm.
It basically tells the hippocampus, which handles memory, hey, save this. This happened to us.
So by making the language personal, I'm essentially hacking my own memory.
You are. You're attaching the English vocabulary to a visceral, real-world experience. And that bond is, I mean, it's 10 times stronger than the bond between you and a page in a textbook.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. I can already hear the listeners thinking, okay, that makes sense scientifically, but my day is literally just wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. I don't know how to say anything interesting about that in English.
And that objection right there, that is the gold mine.
How is that a gold mine? That just sounds like a problem.
It feels like a problem, but it's actually a diagnostic tool. That feeling of, I don't know how to explain this, that little bit of frustration is
Mhm.
exactly what you need. It exposes the gaps in your vocabulary that you didn't even know you had.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you're a learner. You might know the word for constitution because you studied a unit on government. But do you know the word for the little crusty thing in the corner of your eye when you wake up?
Um, Sleep or eye gunk. I'm not sure what the proper word is.
Exactly. See, or do you know the word for snooze button?
Right.
Or tangled headphones? Or lukewarm coffee? These are the tiny things that actually make up your reality. When you try to narrate your day, you instantly hit these little walls. You realize, oh my God, I don't know the word for faucet or doorknob.
And that realization forces you to learn words that are actually truly relevant to you, not to John and Mary.
Yes, and you don't need to be entertaining. This is key. You aren't doing a stand-up comedy routine for an audience. You just need repetition and you need honesty. The goal isn't to entertain some imaginary audience. The goal is to train your brain to process your specific reality through an English lens.
Okay, I'm sold on the philosophy. I want to hack my amygdala. Let's get practical. Let's walk through a day and see what this actually looks like. Because I think people imagine they have to narrate like a sportscaster.
Oh, definitely not.
And now he is opening the door. He is stepping through a magnificent entry.
Please don't do that. That sounds exhausting. Yeah, it's much more internal than that. Let's start with the morning routine. We can call this the system boot phase.
The system boot. I like that. So I wake up. My alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. What is the very first thing I should do?
Before you even open your eyes, you have an opportunity. Usually your internal monologue, it just wakes up in your native language. You think, ooh, 5 more minutes, or I am so tired in your first language.
For me, it's usually a curse word in my first language, to be perfectly honest.
That's valid, but the exercise here is to consciously flip that switch immediately. As soon as you're aware, you wake up in English.
So I'm lying there, eyes still closed. What am I saying to myself?
Keep it incredibly simple. I woke up, my eyes are open now, I hear the alarm.
That feels almost too simple. I woke up. Is that really learning?
It's not about the complexity of the grammar. It's about the speed of the switch. It's the habit. You are training your brain to organize your very first conscious thoughts of the day in English. It's like setting the operating system for the next 16 hours.
Okay, so I've established I'm awake. Check. Now the real struggle begins. I have to get out of bed.
Describe that struggle. This is where it gets interesting. Don't just say, I get up. Say, I don't want to get up. The bed is so warm. The floor is going to be cold.
I am hitting the snooze button.
Yes, I am hitting the snooze button. See, now you're using the present continuous tense naturally. You aren't filling out a worksheet. You're describing a real action as it happens. And you're connecting the physical sensation, the cold floor, the warm blanket, to the English words.
I can see how that would stick. The floor is freezing. That's a feeling I definitely remember every single morning.
Exactly. And you can do this all silently. You don't have to talk to your spouse, your cat, or anything. You can just project these thoughts in your own mind. It's all about narrating the sequence. Okay, I am walking to the kitchen. I am making coffee now. I smell the coffee.
I desperately need the coffee.
I'm a zombie until I have coffee.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect English. That's the other thing. If you say, I am zombie, you are communicating the idea perfectly to yourself.
Okay, so we've caffeinated ourselves. We are somewhat human again. Now we move into the bulk of the day, the daily grind. This is where I feel like most people would fall off the wagon.
For sure, because they get busy, they get distracted, life happens.
Right. I'm at work. I have emails piling up. I have a boss breathing down my neck. I can't exactly sit there narrating my existence out loud.
You can't narrate out loud, sure, but this is where the flow concept comes in. You want to turn English into the background operating system of your work life. And this is, by the way, the perfect time to master the present continuous tense.
Narrating the action.
Right. Think of it like a live stream. You are the streamer, and your life is the game. Okay, I am typing an email. I am deleting the email because it sounded too aggressive. I am rewriting the email to sound friendlier.
I'm pretending to listen to Karen from HR.
Yes. And that brings up a really crucial point. Emotional honesty.
Expand on that.
Yeah.
Because we usually learn polite English, don't we? How are you? I am fine, thank you.
We learn robot English. But humans are emotional creatures. If you want to be truly fluent, you need to be able to express your internal state, not just your physical location or action.
So if I'm bored out of my mind in a meeting,
Acknowledge it in English, in your head. I am so bored right now. This meeting is taking too long. My boss keeps talking and talking. I am getting hungry.
I am frustrated. I feel stressed.
I am frustrated. That is a powerful sentence. If you can connect the feeling of tightness in your chest or that annoyance in your brain directly to the English word frustrated, you have achieved something that, Duolingo just cannot teach you. You've built an emotional bridge to the language.
It makes the language feel real. It stops being a subject you study for 30 minutes and starts being a tool you use to actually process your feelings.
Exactly. And because it's private, because it's just happening in your head, you can be as honest as you want. You can use curse words. You can be rude. You can be whiny. It's your safe space to practice real human thought.
I love the idea of a secret English rebellion happening in your head during a boring work meeting.
It makes the meeting more tolerable, too. You're multitasking. You're getting your work done and you're becoming fluent at the same time.
So the day drags on. We survive the meeting. We survive the commute home. Now we are back home. The evening reflection, you mentioned this.
Yes. And this is, in my opinion, the single most powerful part of the entire routine.
Why is the evening better than the morning or the middle of the day?
Because there's a process called consolidation. In cognitive science, we know that reflection is how memories are fixed, how they're stored long-term in the brain. When you look back on an event, you strengthen that neural pathway. So at the end of the day, you have this massive amount of content to review.
So what am I doing? Am I, writing a full essay about my day?
You could write, for sure, but let's stick to speaking or thinking for now, just to keep it simple. The main thing is you are switching tenses. You're moving from the I am doing of the day to the I did of the evening.
The past tense.
The past tense just happens naturally here.
Wow.
Okay, today was busy. I had a really long meeting. I forgot to eat lunch again. I felt tired this afternoon.
It's like a debrief, like a military after-action report, but for your own life.
A debrief is the perfect word for it. You are processing the events of the day and you're tagging them with English labels. And this is where you really start to see what I call the cluster effect.
The cluster effect. That sounds like a new kind of breakfast cereal.
It does. But it's about vocabulary clustering. Think about your life. Your life has a specific shape, a specific routine. You're a graphic designer or a nurse or a student. You do similar things every single day.
Right. I'm not suddenly going to be an astronaut on Thursday. My life is pretty predictable.
Exactly. So your cluster of vocabulary is completely unique to you. If you narrate your day every day, you will naturally repeat the words that are relevant to your reality. Words like design, client, patient, homework, deadline.
So instead of trying to memorize the top 1,000 most common words from some generic list,
You naturally memorize the top 1,000 words of your life, and those are the only words that actually matter for fluency in the beginning. You stop translating, how do I say deadline, because you've said it to yourself 50 times in the last week. The word becomes automatic.
that is profound. It's customized learning without the effort of consciously customizing it.
It's automatic customization. Your life provides the curriculum. You don't have to go looking for it.
But I have to bring us back to reality for a second. This all sounds great in theory. It makes perfect sense. But there's a reason most people don't do this. And I think it's fear.
The fear factor. Absolutely.
It's the internal critic. Even when I'm alone, talking to myself in the shower, if I make a mistake, I cringe, I feel stupid, I think, God, my accent is terrible. Or, was that the right preposition? I probably got that wrong.
That is the trauma of traditional education speaking. We have been trained our whole lives that mistakes are bad, that a red pen mark on a test means failure.
We want to be perfect before we even open our mouths, which means we never open our mouths.
And that is the death of fluency. We have to talk about the private practice advantage. When you are alone, there are no stakes. There is no one grading you. No one is judging you.
But I judge myself. I'm the harshest judge of all.
You are. We all are. And you have to consciously tell that judge to be quiet. You have to adopt a new mantra. I want everyone listening to this to just write this down or repeat it. Simple and imperfect English is better than silence.
Simple and imperfect English is better than silence.
Silence teaches you nothing. Silence is safe, but it is stagnant. Attempting a sentence, even a broken, messy, grammatically incorrect sentence, keeps the engine running. It keeps the process going.
So if I say, I go to store yesterday, which is, technically wrong.
It is infinitely better than saying nothing at all. You communicated the idea. Your brain accessed the verb go and the noun store and the time marker yesterday. That is a victory. It's a win.
And the fear is, well, will I be stuck saying I go to store forever?
No, that's the big fear, right? If I practice mistakes, I will learn mistakes. But that's not really how it works with language acquisition. As you consume more English, as you listen to podcasts like this, as you watch movies, your brain will naturally start to self-correct. You'll hear someone say, I went, over and over, and eventually your brain will just click, okay, that sounds better, that sounds right.
So the output, the messy speaking, keeps the channel open, and the input, the listening and reading, refines the grammar over time.
Exactly. But you cannot refine what doesn't exist. You have to produce the messy raw material first. You have to be willing to embrace the mess.
Embrace the mess. I like that.
Yeah.
But, doing this every single day, that takes willpower. And willpower is a finite, limited resource.
It is. It absolutely is. And that brings us to the importance of consistency over intensity.
Because some days, I just don't want to learn. I'm tired. I'm cranky. I just want to watch Netflix and zone out and not think in any language.
And that is completely normal and okay. The problem is all or nothing thinking. We think, I didn't narrate my whole day today, so I failed. I might as well just quit.
It's the spiral of shame.
It's spiral of shame. We have to break that. So here is the rule for the bad days, the tired days.
Yeah.
The one sentence rule.
Just one single sentence.
Just one. If you are exhausted lying in bed at the end of the day, just think to yourself, I am exhausted.
And that counts.
That counts. It's a huge win. You kept the neural pathway open. You acknowledged your reality in English. That is what we call a non-zero day.
It's like the advice to floss just one tooth.
Exactly. It's the same principle. Usually, if you floss one, you end up flossing them all. But even if you only floss one, it's infinitely better than none. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is identity maintenance. You are reminding yourself, I am an English learner. I show up, even when it's hard.
And we should probably mention, you don't always have to be talking to yourself like a crazy person walking down the street. There are other ways to get this out.
Yes, although talking to yourself is very therapeutic, I highly recommend it. But variety is good for motivation.
I really like the voice note idea. I think that's very practical.
This is a great technique. Most of us have WhatsApp or Telegram or just a voice recorder app on our phone. At the end of the day, just record a 30-second summary.
Like, hey, future me, today was crazy.
Exactly. And the really cool thing is you can go back and listen to it a month later. You will actually hear your progress. You'll hear your accent get better, your vocabulary get smoother, your hesitations decrease. It's real hard data of your improvement.
Or writing. I know some people prefer to see the words, to have it be more concrete.
A journal is fantastic for this. Think of it like the 5-minute journal concept, but in English. 3 things that happened today, how I felt about them. Writing slows down your thinking. It forces you to be deliberate with spelling and sentence structure. It's a different kind of workout, but very, very effective.
Okay, so let's fast forward. We've been doing this for a few weeks, maybe a month. We're narrating our toast. We're secretly complaining about our boss in our heads. We're recording these little voice notes. What is the payoff? Why does this actually matter in the real world?
This is the so what question. The most important question. Why are we doing all this? It's not just to be good at talking to ourselves. It's about social preparation.
I want to bring up a specific scenario.
Yeah.
It's the most common and, for me, the most terrifying small talk question on the planet.
Let me guess. How was your day?
It haunts me. Every single time someone asks, so how was your day? My mind just goes completely blank. I panic. And I just say, good. You.
The robot response. We've all been there.
I hate it. I want to say more, I want to connect, but I just freeze up.
The reason you freeze is because of cognitive load. Your brain has to do 2 massive tasks at the exact same time. Number 1, search your memory to recall what actually happened today. And number 2, translate all those events and feelings into English. That is a huge amount of processing power.
It's like trying to run a heavy video game on a really old laptop.
Yeah.
The whole system just crashes.
Exactly. But What if you have been narrating your day as it happened?
Then you've already done all the work.
You've already done the rendering.
Yeah.
You've already translated the events into English in real time. The file is, unzipped and ready to go. When someone asks, "How was your day?" you aren't translating from scratch. You are just hitting play on the thoughts you already had.
So you can just say, actually, it was kind of crazy. I had this huge meeting this morning, and honestly, I felt so frustrated by the end of it.
And it just flows. It sounds natural, and the other person thinks, wow, their English is so fluid and spontaneous. They have no idea you rehearsed that exact sentence 3 hours ago while you were staring at the coffee machine.
It's a cheat code. That's what it is.
It is the ultimate social cheat code. It gives you confidence because you are actually prepared not just for a test, but for life.
And that confidence, that leads to the biggest shift of all. We talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, the identity shift.
This is the deep stuff. This is where true fluency really lives.
It's when English stops being something you do, like a task, and starts being part of who you are.
Yes. When you use English to organize your own thoughts, when you use it to understand your own emotions, it ceases to be a foreign language. It becomes your language. It's one of the languages your brain operates in.
It becomes a tool for self-expression and self-understanding, not just a subject you studied in school.
And that is a profound psychological shift. You aren't learning anymore. You are simply living in the language. And once you cross that line, you never really go back.
That is a beautiful thought. And the best part, it costs $0.
You don't need a credit card. You don't need to hire a tutor. You don't even need extra time in your day. You are already awake. You are already living your day. You already have all the content you will ever need.
You just need to change the narration track, change the language of your inner voice.
Just flip the switch.
So let's wrap this up with a little recap for everyone driving home or doing the dishes right now.
Okay. The main takeaway is stop waiting for the perfect time to speak perfect English because it doesn't exist.
Start with the small things, the boring things. I am washing the dishes. The water is hot. I am tired.
Focus on your reality. Hack your memory by making it personal. Don't worry about John and his ball.
Embrace the private practice. Talk to yourself. Be messy. Be gloriously imperfect.
And be consistent. Remember the one-sentence rule. One sentence a day keeps the fluency doctor away. Or, something like that.
We'll work on that metaphor. But seriously, start today.
Yeah.
Right now, wherever you are. Describe where you are. Describe what you are doing.
I am listening to a podcast.
I am feeling inspired.
Hopefully. We hope so.
Here is a final provocative thought for you to chew on. If English becomes the primary way you process your own life, if it becomes the voice in your head that narrates your world, does it even count as studying anymore? Or have you just evolved?
That's the goal. Evolution, not study.
That is the goal. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope this gives you a fresh and maybe less stressful perspective on your language journey.
It was a real pleasure.
If you enjoyed this conversation and you want to support the show, please hit that like button. It really does help us out with the algorithm.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more deep dives into learning and, well, everything else.
Start narrating your day, everyone. Make the mundane magical. We'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.